Okay, we're live. Maybe. I don't know. It's always something, Josh. You of all people would know.
I got us
Uh,
up. I see it on there.
yeah, well, I clicked on the ad. I got it. So the way it works for people that don't know, I've got a pre-recorded deal that I just click a button and it's supposed to play the ad. For some reason today, it's worked for every episode before this. It didn't work. So if you didn't see the ads or they weren't playing sound, I don't know. Anyways, so
Yeah.
perfect. Josh, Ashley, how's it going?
It's going.
It's going good. Well, yeah, it's going good. This has been a rough week for the Teulker household, but we made it. I
Yeah.
think.
So we talked earlier in the week, and you said you were going to jump on tonight, and we've talked about this a little bit. But Josh's going to be taken back over starting next week, as long as you and Dan have a show planned, or whenever the next one is. But you messaged me earlier today and said, "Oh, I might not make it." So what was going on in your household?
Our Hayes, our youngest one, smashed his finger real bad, and so we had to take him to the urgent care, I guess. And it's fine. I mean, it's all scuffed up and swollen, but it's not broken. So that's what we had to go check on. And then Huck had eye surgery Friday, so he's kind of down and out. And just Hayes also had the day we left to go to surgery, he like fevered all night that day we had to go do surgery. So he just got over like a flu or something. And then today he's back in the doctor's office because he smashed his finger real bad. So it's been a fun week.
Yeah. It's always something.
But it's maybe they got it all out of their system now and we'll be good for a while.
Yeah, it sounds
probably
like
not.
Everybody's on the road to recovery, so that's always good.
Yeah. I swear it's the holiday chaos. Like they know stuff's coming up, so they're like, let me just break myself first.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Maddie didn't sleep at all the night we were going to take Hayes to have a surgery because Hayes was he was fevering. I mean, he was just up and out and wasn't her, you know. And then so we get to the hospital and they did the surgery, got the surgery done with Huck. And we went back to see him after the surgery, and he was like hysterical, you know, like kids get, I guess, when they come out of anesthesia, they're real upset. And he was, he was mad, you know, and he's yelling, you know, I'm never coming back here again, just yelling and stuff. He don't remember any of it, but it really upset Maddie. And then she didn't sleep that night before. She got real oozy and lightheaded, and they had to take her to a different room because she was going to pass out. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're a mess right now. But
you just had to hold the whole fort down.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's good. Huck's doing good. You wouldn't even know he had surgery. Like we got home and he took a nap and woke up, and other than his eyes looked like he got in a big fight. But
he has glasses, doesn't he?
Yeah, he had to get it. He has lazy eyes, so he got those fixed.
Okay, I didn't know that. I just knew he had glasses.
Yeah, if you don't get it fixed, so like his left one is worse than his right. So his left one will actually almost disappear by his nose. And the doctor said that if we don't get it fixed, his brain will eventually just stop using his left eye because it doesn't work right. And eventually, if you don't fix it to where the brain can use it, he just won't be able to see out of it. So that's the redneck terminology, at least that I'm explaining. Right. So we got that all taken care of now, but they're straight as an arrow.
I'm glad Huck and Hayes are doing a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's fairly common. My brother had the same surgery. So
yeah. The doctor said they do like 50 a day.
Oh wow.
We're at
Holy
50
cow.
eye surgeries. I don't know if they're all the
for
lazy eye, but it's very common. I mean, literally he was back there for like 15 minutes and that was it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it like the non-invasive where it's just super simple, small incisions?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's actually I think it's just like the muscles in the corner of their eye sockets is what they adjust. So they didn't do anything gruesome, like take his eyeball out or anything like that.
Okay, so he's on fast track to recovery then.
Yeah, it's they said like adults will usually be like you can go to shopping afterwards if you want to. It just feels like you got a little sand in your eyes or something.
Okay. That makes me feel better. I was so worried about him. I was like, oh no, poor kid.
No, he's good. He's good. There is like a 20% of the surgeries fail and you have to redo them, but he seems like they look straight to me. So
good.
Doctor,
nice.
Yeah.
Got a little tune up. That's all. Good to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
An alignment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to share a video here real quick. I was out over the weekend and saw something cool. Happened to have the camera with me, and it's not something I've seen before, so pretty neat here. Let's see if it pops up. What? Oh, I gotta hit the share button. You'd think I know how to do this by now, but I don't.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so let's see if I can hit the play button there.
Did you have your big camera with you?
Yeah, yep. So we got a Sony A7 for photography mostly, but obviously does video too, and had the zoom lens on. So I don't know what they're doing. Like the moose rut's over; it's been over for quite a while. They usually over by the middle of October, but it's about the time they should be shedding. So I was praying because they were on public land. I was praying one of the antlers would pop off or all of them. But
Jeremy, I don't
no
know much
such
about
luck.
moose. Are those young moose?
Yeah, so two things. Montana, Wyoming, there's a different subspecies than Canada or Alaska. So it's not Alaskan or Yukon. It's a Shiras, it's called Shirs. But yeah, I'm not a moose aging expert. Obviously, they're not a year old, but the one especially was like noticeably smaller on the body. So I would assume that they're 2, 3, 3, 4, something like that.
Yeah. I'm real familiar with the species, but I don't really like you. I don't. They look young. That's the only reason I was like, they're probably just messing around or something.
That's kind of what I thought too. Boys will be boys, just
Yeah,
banging around. But
We've had turkeys attacking each other in the backyard lately. Like it's
Everybody-
not mating season. I think all of the animals are just ready to fight.
Yeah, everybody's
all the
fired
young
up.
ones. Because they're jakes. We get like you had the moose, but we had jakes and they'll circle each other and they'll attack each other. And it's not mating season. I don't know why they're doing it.
Yeah,
birds are naturally like they establish pecking orders in any group they're in. So that's probably what they were doing.
But there's like
chickens were like that. I mean,
there's like 26 of them, and there's like a handful of them that'll just circle the birds, and we'll just watch them.
Yeah, birds are vicious to each other.
They're daggone dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I wanted to get rolling here for a minute before we announced it, but we've been running the Lathrop and Sons insole giveaway. I think that started back in September, October. Anyway, it's been going on, and the grand prize is a pair of boots, a pair of the Synergy insoles, which are like the gel insoles, and a pair of the non-typical insoles. We've been giving those away too. And Josh, I know you did a video on those. Pretty cool technology there, how they kind of trap air in, and it's whatever, doesn't take batteries or anything, but makes your boots warmer. So anyways, I talked to Steven this week, and they did draw a winner. So we'll do a drum roll here. There we go. There's my drum roll. Dave Reason. I don't know if I said that right, but the last name is spelled Riesen. Dave, if you're watching, congratulations. And if you're not watching, we have your email through the Lathrop and Sons email list. So Steven was waiting for me to announce it, but he will get a hold of you via email, and you'll get to pick out a pair of Lathrop and Sons boots and get your insoles. So congratulations, Dave.
Nice.
Yeah, and thanks to Steven at Lathrop and Sons again. If you guys are looking for a pair of Western style hunting boots or some insoles for your rubber boots, check out Lathrop and Sons. It was a pretty cool giveaway they did, so appreciate that.
Yeah, they even have I don't know if you guys saw this on their website. They have a mobile hunter package now that you can buy like from them. It saves a bunch of money on their boots. It's like a one of their mountain boots, pair of darn tough socks, and then the insoles, and you save like $100 off the package. So you're pretty much getting the insoles and the socks free.
Oh, nice. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, now we got that out of the way, the admin stuff. Josh, obviously you're going to be taking back over here soon, so I'd like to know what's new with you lately, and what are the plans moving forward, and maybe tie in what are you doing right now with hunting, and how are you getting ready? I know your season's still going on, but what are you doing for the tail end of the season? Are you going to get out anymore, and what are you doing for next year?
Yeah, this season's been weird for me because I've had like statistically a good year. Like I've killed a couple bucks out of state, but I have not killed an Indiana buck yet, and I have never not killed an Indiana buck. So I feel like it's like
Sticking in your
waiting on
craw
me,
a little
but-
bit.
Yeah, it's just like, gosh dang it. Like, I mean, I shouldn't be like that, but I've been hitting it fairly hard this late season. I haven't hunted a lot during late season around here. So it's actually been kind of fun. Just been on some good deer, had some bad luck with, like last night I was on a pretty good deer. It's a big deer. It'd be the biggest deer I've ever killed, but, and like 5 o'clock, we get dark around 5:50 here. And, 5 o'clock, I hear something coming down the ridge, and I'm like, all right, I kind of get things ready, my camera ready, and here comes like a little corgi dog just walking down the ridge with a collar on and everything, and he's walking up to my tree and throwing my sticks, and and looked up at me, and then just sat down and was waggling his tail, waiting for me to come down. And I tried to like get, but if I talked to it, it just got more excited. So I ended up getting down and it followed me to the truck, and it was the neighbors that live right there by the public. It was ended up being their dog, but and I don't know about you guys, but man, I've had coyotes probably 4 times this year, like interrupt deer hunting for me. It just seems like more than normal. Even this, I killed it ended up being a button buck, but I killed it early season, and before I could get down to the deer, coyotes were on it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't know if there's we just got a bunch of them right now or what's going on. But other than that, I did pass a really nice, like big 6-pointer that I probably should have killed, but that's been the season this year. But it's not over. I got a few more days. We got some good weather coming into this week too. It's been not miserably hot. It's been real nice here this week. I mean, it's been in the 60s a couple of days over the weekend and stuff. So
yeah, not ideal
yeah,
late season weather. Not
really, no. Still went out a couple times though to see what could happen. But the good thing is I do have, seems like a lot of deer made it this year. Like a lot of deer I've had on camera in December here. So that's kind of a good thought for next year.
Always exciting to have some survivors.
Yeah.
And then Ashley, you've been MIA a little bit lately. So what's been going on? Obviously it's Christmas and stuff, spending time with the family, which is good. But what else? What's new in your world? Oh no, now we can't hear you. We could hear you for the first half of the show. This, like I said, we were talking about this before we got online too. I don't know what it is. It's Apple.
Am I back?
You're back. This program doesn't like Apple. I can hear you now.
So I got my skulls boiled out, and
nice.
As far as hunting goes, I've gone gun hunting a couple times. Pretty much all we have left is heritage season, and I am not big in the cold, so I never really get out for heritage season. We'll see if I do this year, but I doubt it. I haven't shot a muzzleloader enough to feel comfortable taking it out. I don't know. It's more of a me thing, but I just haven't had enough. I've shot them a couple times, but I've not practiced with muzzleloaders enough to feel comfortable to go out. And then like, if there was a chance that I had to take a second shot, like I don't feel like I'm fast enough with the muzzleloader to be able to take the second shot at the same time. So it's just, I'm probably done for the year. I'm pretty well gearing up for spring turkey season. That's where I'm at. Those almost 30 turkeys in the backyard have not been helping me. So my brain has switched to turkeys at this point, but Justin's still trying on deer, or he was. He might go out for heritage season. He's not sure. We've just kind of had a rough past few months, so we've just been getting by mostly.
Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's an accomplishment to survive the holidays sometimes.
It really is. So that's where we're at. We're just I'm mostly waiting for spring season, but I turkeys are my jam and jelly. I love deer hunting. It's a blast, but turkeys are my jam and jelly, hands down. I love crawling through the grass and chasing after things. And nice. It's not fun to do that in the cold.
I am not much of a turkey hunter myself. I don't have anything against it. I've just, in the spring, I always end up going to look for sheds, or out here since I've moved to Montana, very unsuccessfully. I like to go chase bears around or something. So I haven't done much turkey hunting. So I can't give any good advice there. I'm the world's worst turkey hunter, probably. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, totally off topic. and nothing to do with hunting, but since we got a good outdoor audience on here, I'm looking at getting a new truck. So if anyone's got a new Silverado with the 3-liter Duramax, or if anybody's a mechanic or has heard anything good, bad, especially if you got a fair amount of miles on it, let me know. Give me a comment in there. What
What are you
heard
pulling
about
around,
those.
Jeremy?
So the 3-liter actually, like the 2500s, those got the 6.6 Duramax. The half ton has got a 3-liter, and I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said. Sorry, I zoned out when you said Duramax.
Yeah, I got one or two buddies that have them, and I wouldn't be doing it just for the fuel economy, but because diesel usually is a little more expensive. But they're getting like 25 miles, some of them 28 on the highway, and I'm driving a Tacoma right now, and the only reason I'm looking to get rid of that, it's getting up high mileage, close to 200,000. I want to get rid of it before, or while it still has some, trade-in value or private party, whatever. But anyways, I don't tow that often, but I do tow once in a while. But it's like utility trailer and a ATV, nothing crazy. So I don't need big towing. So I don't need a 2500. But the biggest thing is all these new trucks. Everything I read about it makes me scared to buy any of them. They all have problems. New Tundras, they're having main bearings go out. The new Tacoma, which mine's been super reliable, but they just came out with a new one, I think last year. Those got a transmission recall already. The Ford trucks got the cam phaser issues. They all have issues. I know GM has issues too, but of the newer ones, they seem to be the most reliable from what I've read. But you can get a lemon from anything. So pickups cost a lot of money. I'm trying to spend my money as intelligently as I can.
Yeah, you ought to look at or contact Jason Samkoviak. He has that new channel that
I watch it.
Yeah, man, he's a plethora of knowledge on vehicles. Like he knows a lot about them.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what Josh is talking about, he's got what's his hunting channel? Traditional bow hunting?
It used to be it's Samco Tradbow now is what it's called.
Samco Tradbow. Okay. Yep. And he's got a separate channel now where he's doing a lot of vehicle stuff. I think it's just called Jason Samco, isn't it?
Samco Workshop or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. But that guy cranks out the videos too.
that his other channel is actually going to probably surpass his hunting channel here pretty quick. It's crazy. The market for hunting or for truck content is way bigger than hunting content. Obviously, there's a lot more people driving trucks than there are hunters in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And some people have asked, and I've been open about it. Part of the reason that I'm not going to be doing the podcast anymore is one, I'm a little burnt out on podcasting. I've been doing it 4 or 5 years now. And two, I do like doing YouTube. I like doing the videos and editing and stuff. So I'm going to kind of do something like what Jason's doing, not trucks. I'm just going to shift niches and like the moose stuff. We do tons of photography, me and Sean and my girlfriend. So I'm going to start doing like camera stuff. And Josh, we were talking offline. I just got that new DJI, the Pocket 3 camera, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And been playing with that. So I'm going to do videos like that. And there's just there's a bigger audience. Two, it's year round. So still going to hunt. I'll probably still post some hunting stuff on my channel. I'm not going to totally abandon it, but I'm going to put more of my effort into doing that stuff going forward.
Yep. There's some gigantic camera channels. That's a big market on YouTube.
Yeah, it is. And not to get way in the weeds, I don't want to bore people that tune in for hunting stuff, but the CPM, RPM, which is how much you make per 1,000 views, is way higher for electronics than it is for hunting. So
well, and you got a lot of opportunities to make money other ways too in the camera world.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that. And fortunately for me, I live like 2 hours from Yellowstone. So I got a target rich environment over here for photos, not so much for hunting. They frown upon hunting in Yellowstone, it turns out. But but anyways, one more thing there and we'll get off the YouTube. But speaking of that, I talked about it earlier this year. I got one of those option archery canyon pounder sights. Have you seen those, Josh?
Yep.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
I started making a video. So I bought the sight in like May, got it on my bow, started making a video, and I had like 97% of it finished right before elk season. And I was hoping to have it out before elk season, and then I didn't get it done. So I'm finishing that up, and I'm going to release that in the next couple of days. So if you guys are looking at that sight or curious about it, I might have a video coming out about that. And now I've used it for a whole hunting season. So I'm kind of adding my thoughts on the season towards the end of the video, and I don't know, the features and stuff. But the one thing about that sight is it is obnoxiously expensive. So if you're looking for a budget sight, that's not the one. But
Yeah.
I've been happy with it overall. What do you shoot, Josh?
Black gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those
I'm
are.
probably gonna go to a spot hog, like 3-pin, just fixed sight for deer hunting next year.
See, I liked my spot hog, but it was a little heavy.
Yeah.
That's the
Yep.
only downfall to it, because I switched to a black gold this year and it's a little bit lighter than my spot hog was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want to move her anymore. I want to fix pin.
See, and I went the
There you go.
opposite. I shot a 5-pin spot hog forever, and then
Yeah.
just be like, I don't do it a lot, but like the tack events and stuff, I shoot a heavier arrow. And I had shoulder surgery a couple of years ago, so I'm only shooting 65 pounds when with like a 480 grain arrow. So I got a fairly decent rainbow on longer shots, and I couldn't shoot anything at tack over like 60 yards. So I wanted
Yeah.
it for that, and I can shoot out to. I think my mover goes down to like 99 now, so that gave me 40 extra yards almost.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For those events, I think you got to have.
Yeah, exactly.
There's shots over 100 yards, isn't there?
There is, yeah. You can. I think you can walk up or you can shoot. Usually, there's 3 or 4 courses, and the one course is all super long shots, like 60 plus usually.
Yeah.
So good way to donate arrows and keep Easton and all the other arrow companies in business. That's
right.
I think those guys came up with those events, if I'm being honest.
Probably.
Yeah. So Josh, talk to me about. Obviously, people know you. You were the original host, the OG, coming back for round 2, and it'll be Beast Report 3.0. What do you want to do going forward, or what are your plans? What would you like to do? Or maybe if you guys are in the comments, give Josh some suggestions, because I know as the host, it's hard to keep coming up with fresh ideas. So if you guys have anything you want to see Josh do, drop a comment in it too. But go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, comments help a lot with YouTube ideas. That's for sure. Most of my ideas come from other people that you spark an idea from a comment you get or whatever. But
Sure.
yeah, I guess the plan right now is like me and Dan are going to rotate weeks. So, we'll do the Beast Report and then he'll be on my show and just go back and forth every other week. That's just kind of how we worked it out. All my hunting stuff is going to be on my channel, still won't be on the Beast.
Okay.
And then vice versa, obviously. Yeah, it won't be, I don't know. To be honest with you, me and Dan haven't talked about it too much. We talked for like an hour and a half today on the phone, didn't even talk about peep about podcasting or anything.
Yeah.
So that'll probably just be a bunch of that kind of stuff here, starting off, getting things rolling again. And then obviously, like with Dan, it's just like pretty natural to bring up tactics and get back on the deer hunting train here, along with, I'm sure some just BS podcast sprinkled in there. So not unlike any other show you guys watched between us or you guys or my channel. So that's the plan at the moment. You know how me and or how Dan is. There's not much.
Yeah.
We'll cross the road when we get there next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that happens more often than not. The nice thing about working with Dan is he's got a real big network, and he was able through his contacts to get a lot of people on the show that would have never answered my phone calls or emails. So that's it's helpful, and he's pretty good about getting people on, like when current events are going on that's relevant. So that's all helpful.
Yeah, it is. Makes it for a pretty easy transition, and just getting guests. It's hard. I like having a show where you don't have to rely on guests, to be honest with you, but it's always nice to have another perspective or get some cool people on.
Yeah, and I think the audience, feel free to chime in here. I think we've been doing a fair job of balancing guests for that alternate perspective, but I know a lot of people tune in just to hear Dan talk too, which is good because he's a built-in guest all the time, which is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Other than that, though, I mean, me and Dan were talking about hunts and stuff, doing some hunts and whatnot next year, and just nothing official by any means, but that'll all probably happen a little bit here and there. So we talked about shows. I saw someone commenting early about shows. We have no idea. I have no idea what shows I'm going to be at. Not as many as I was last year, though. I'm not going to do many at all. So.
Like the outdoor shows, expos.
Yeah, not these shows, but like just show up at a Mobile Hunter Expo or Great American Sportsman's and all those things. So
yeah,
it should be a good year next year. I also going to be busy with my other job too, so it's going to be a crazy year, but it's going to be good.
Are you working again? And you feel free not to answer. Were you YouTubing full time last?
Yeah, I was.
So,
right? So I was YouTubing, doing this full time, and then I had a consulting business, essentially in the agriculture industry. So I never really stopped working per se, doing a second job, but it was drastically reduced. I mean, like, a fraction of what I was doing when I was full time. But starting the 6th, which is Monday, I guess, the company kind of threw me an offer. I couldn't refuse to come back and help them. So I'm going to go back and do that too, on top of all this. So,
oh yeah, you'll be real busy.
Well, yeah, it'll be good though. Cause like, I don't know, my wife would want to quit and, whatever, homeschool the kids whenever the time comes and all that it's going to be an option. And yeah, it's going to be good. It's and I've gotten the YouTube stuff down pat. Like at first, you're learning how to do it and this and that and what type of videos work. And I've got it down to where, I don't have to spend as much time on it as I used to. So
yeah, that's when you're first getting into it, you spend, it feels like 2, 5, 10 times as long to make a video, because you got to watch videos about how to put a video together and get ideas and stuff, and you spend so much time reading and learning and researching. So,
well, then you get more direct with like, okay, they want to see this or they don't want to see this, and you're not doing as much experimenting, or you just got to know what you're doing.
If Maddie has questions about homeschooling, let me know. I homeschool Hudson, so
okay, yeah. We might hear in the next couple of years.
It's a fun time. It's trying, but it's really fun. Anybody that says it's an easy task is a liar. Just like anybody that says hunting's easy, they lied. Homeschooling is not for the weak of hearts. Just like
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's good though. I mean, if you're able to do it, I don't have kids, but I would like to homeschool my kids if I did.
Yeah. Well,
it's time.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with me. A whole bunch, really. Yeah,
it sounds like two jobs, 2 kids, 2 YouTube shows. You're going to be real busy, Josh.
Just don't get 2 wives, because Maddie might.
Right. Well, there's no time for that.
Yeah,
no time and no desire, to be honest with you. That's too much. Yeah.
Let's look at some of these comments here. We got 1 or 2 more things to talk about, but I saw a couple about trucks and stuff. Justin Tanner, who is always on. Justin, it's good to see you. So Jeremy, hope you decide to check in with us once in a while. I did mention to Dan, and Josh will tell you too, either one of you guys wants a day off, let me know. I just don't want to do it full time, but I certainly don't mind coming on once every other month or something like that, whenever it fits in. Frisco 94 says, I have the 22 Silverado with the 3-liter Duramax. It's incredible on fuel, 34,000 miles so far. Gas is cheaper in the long run, cheaper maintenance, cheaper fuel. He says he pulls a 26-foot travel trailer with it. Yeah, like I said, I don't tow real heavy, so I'm not buying it necessarily for towing. But Montana, one of the other things, and people don't think about this, is like a lot of times you're 70, 80 miles between gas stations, which doesn't sound, it's not that crazy. But if you drive to a hunting area, drive around the hunting area, go to leave, and this happened to me this fall. I usually carry a 5-gallon gas can, but one of the normal gas stops was closed. The pump was broke down, and it's literally a single pump with a nozzle on each side. That was broke down, and I was thankful that I could get to the next gas station, because that was another 60 miles. So you kind of run out of fuel, and the reason I'm talking about this is that 3-liter, I think the range on a full tank is like 500 miles, where my Tacoma is like 300. So pretty nice to have that in there too. Jet says he's got a 4Runner with 166. 200 is nothing on a Tacoma. Yeah, I got a 19. So this tells you how much I drive out here. I got a 19 Tacoma I bought brand new, 18 miles. So it'll be 6 years old in February. I got 185,000 miles on it. So I've been averaging like 36,000 miles a year, which is ridiculous. So that's the only reason I'm looking to get rid of it. And I'm not necessarily worried about the mileage, just more the resale. I feel like once it goes over 200, then I'm married to that truck until it dies. So I want to sell it now. So that's what I'm doing.
We have a 4Runner too. We got a 2012. They're
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Shauna drives. She's got one. And
Forerunners
they're
and Ravs.
yeah,
Ravs are really nice too.
bulletproof.
Yeah. It has 211,000 miles on it, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, probably good for another 100 anyways.
Yeah. I think they're worth more now than whenever we bought the thing, though. Like, they're I know, like you were talking about earlier, Jeremy, like people are not happy with the new Toyota stuff. I know.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
And there's kind of those generations of trucks get like valuable to people for some reason of Toyota, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's because they're so dependable, you know.
Yeah, which is crazy because my truck, even with 185,000 miles, the trade-in is still like over $20,000, which is crazy.
Insane. That's what I meant. Well, we didn't buy ours new; we bought ours used, but that's what I meant by it hasn't dropped much in price.
Yeah. What else we got? I have a 20 Holes GT says I have a 23 Silverado half ton with 3-liter Duramax, 700 miles a tank. Yeah. So, and I've seen numbers all over the board, but a lot of people are saying they're getting, even driving highway speed 70, 80 miles an hour. Usually your diesel mileage gets way worse, but a lot of people saying they're still getting 23 miles a gallon. And then if you drive at like grandpa speed, 60 miles an hour, which is kind of the optimum zone for that people are getting 27, 28, 30 miles a gallon, which is crazy. So, Billy Davis, Josh, was it this year or last year? Didn't you just go to Iowa?
Yeah, feels like a century ago, but yeah, it was this year.
Okay, Billy Davis says, I've heard once you start the process for Iowa, it takes 5 years. So, what was your experience with Iowa? How many points? What do you know about the point system there?
Yeah, 5 years is kind of the where I wouldn't even probably put in until you got to 5 points. I ended up having 7 points just for circumstances. Just I couldn't go last year because we had a baby during deer season, and then so I had just grabbed another point, and then but yeah, it's a long process. It's expensive, but it's a pretty cool place to go deer hunting.
Yeah. So if you guys heard that story and you listen carefully, Josh was letting you know from January to March, just don't do any funny business because then you have kids during deer season. So that's 9 months for people that can't count. Shut it down, January to March.
You don't need no November babies.
I think it was God keeping me honest, probably is what that was.
Yeah, no, that's good. Obviously, I'm just kidding around. And anytime you have a happy, healthy baby, that's a gift for sure.
Farrell was wondering, anyone hunt with a pistol before, and why or why not?
Nope. No reason. I think it'd be cool, but
I don't hunt with one, but I carry one every time I'm in the woods out here because grizzlies and wolves and mountain lions. So even during bow season, I mean, it's pretty common, but I sometimes carry, so maybe this will sound like overkill to people, but if I'm just out and about in like maybe fringe grizzly or non-grizzly area, I just carry a pistol. If I'm in for sure, I know there's grizzlies around, I carry both. I carry bear spray too, because there's a fair bit of evidence that bear spray works better as a deterrent. So, that's your first option, but I never go without a handgun, but I've never actually shot anything with it, like in hunting. And I carry a Glock 10 millimeter. So.
Yep. I always carry a pistol too, but I don't never kill anything with it. I think it's cool though.
Yeah.
I always remember Ted Nugent shooting a 10 millimeter. He always kills stuff with his 10 millimeter on Spirit of the Wild. So
yeah. Uncle Ted, he's a wild man.
Billy Davis also asked, how do you get started applying for out-of-state Iowa tag? The process sounds confusing. And somebody else said, I'm very interested in that as well. Charles did.
So
go ahead.
Okay.
You being a Western guy, I mean, I can explain it too, but go ahead because you live in that world out there.
Sure. So obviously there's over-counter states and there's draw states. We talked about this a tiny bit on the last show, but the best way to get started is just Google the state you're interested in when their application period is. And I know off the top of my head, Iowa starts like either May 1st or the first week in May, and it always ends the first Saturday in June. It's kind of a weird one. So the first thing you need to do is find out when the application period is. The second thing you need to do, this is me, best practice, put a reminder in your phone, whether that's an alarm for that date or calendar reminder, And then after you do that, put another one for about 2 days later, because you probably won't do it the first time. So basically, when you do that, you just go to the DNR website. If you have problems, you can call the DNR. They're always real helpful, or FWP, whatever the state game agency is called. And usually you create an account that's like your name, your address, your social security number, or whatever, and they'll give you your identifier number. And then when the application period is, you go in and just buy a preference point. For Iowa, it's real simple. There's a button right on the main page. It says NR, non-resident deer preference point. You buy it. I think they're $60 and $2 for processing or something. And then you can only buy one a year. So you buy one every year. And then Josh, you were talking about 5 points, and I'd agree. The popular zones, which are like 9, 4, 6, 7, 5.
Yep.
Those popular ones. The ones on the western side, I think like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, you can get those quicker.
There's deer there, but there's not as much public, and there isn't as high a deer density. But from what I've heard, the quality is still pretty good. So maybe if you're looking to dip your toe into Iowa quicker, that might be a route to go. But anyways, what did I miss there, Josh?
Nothing for Iowa, really. I think some states require you to buy some kind of a license off of them every year. I think Colorado's like that now.
It is.
And it's a pain. It's super expensive. So you got to buy some kind of a small game license or just something silly to even apply anymore. So you got to watch that. Usually, the websites won't let you proceed with checkout of a preference point or anything until you have the eligible the eligible license into your card as well. But putting in points for stuff, especially if you're doing a lot of different states, it can be pretty costly.
Yeah. Individually, they're not too bad, but if you start buying them, and we, Josh, you were on last week, but we talked a little bit about, because this stuff's coming up, like Wyoming, you can start applying for elk January 2nd, and the deadline's January 31st. You can buy points longer than that, but if you're trying to actually apply for the hunt, it's only a month long, and it's in January. And I mean,
yeah,
I don't know about you, but when I think about elk, I think about September. It's hard to get your mind thinking about elk and applications in January. So it's easy to miss that one. But anyways,
I got a little book up here that I've had for a long time now, and I got every state that I applied for. I write down the preference points and how many I have, and kind of my log, because you got to log into all these places. So I got all my login information and all that. So I keep track of it pretty close. Because there's a lot.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about any of these hunts, the deer's not so bad, but I mean, Iowa, it's 5 years, so it's fairly long term. But if you're going to Kansas, a lot of times you can draw with no points or 1 point or 2 points. Even though it's a drawing, it's pretty good odds. Montana the same way, usually draw with 1 or 2 points. But if you're thinking about doing pronghorn hunts or mule deer in a draw state, or especially elk, and especially mountain goat, bighorn sheep, moose, those are all real hard draws. The best, it's kind of like planting a tree. They say, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. It's when's the best time to start buying points? 20 years ago. But if you haven't started buying them, start buying them right now, because it's never gonna. All these states are going up.
I mean, some of the goats, even though you're not even. I mean, you're better off probably just saving up money and going to Canada and shooting one. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's sheep and goats. That's rich man's hunting for the most part anymore.
Yeah. Because even if you do, I mean, it's going to be 30, 25, I don't know, 25 years, maybe more, who knows what the future holds. But
so Steve said, once you get into Iowa with a point, they send you a reminder every year at the time for points. He said it's pretty simple, really. I don't know if that's true, for sure, but I guess they send you reminders every year, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the state game agencies are good about that, because obviously when you create your account initially, you put in your email, and then I know Montana, they send out a reminder every year when the season opens, or I think they send out emails just before they close too, last 2 weeks to buy your points or whatever. So
they want to get their ballot.
Yeah. And to Josh's point, Holes GT said kiss $100 goodbye per year in Colorado. Yeah, they trick you, because the points are cheap. The points are $10 each, or maybe they're even free. I think they're only $10, but the small game license is $97, so they get you there.
It is.
That's wild. Justin Tanner was asking, Jeremy, are you going to continue your channel?
Yes, but in the limited. No more full length podcasts. I'm not doing that anymore. Just because, kind of like Josh said, one, it's hard to get guests too, and no one wants to listen to me weekly for an hour. So I always tried to have guests and interviewed guests that were interesting to me. And it's just hard to schedule that when you're a one-man band, and it's hard to get people to say yes. A lot of people, and I respect it, a lot of people just want to stay anonymous. Some of the better hunters I know, I couldn't get them on because, like, I don't want to talk about even the state I'm in or anything I'm doing. So, and I get it, I respect it. So it's hard to get people, and it's Josh, I think, will back me up on this. It's quite a bit more work than you see. And for me, the return that I was getting was not worth the effort. Maybe naively, I thought I was going to get a bigger following than I did. And it's hard to monetize hunting stuff too. People, when you first get into it, you think, oh, like YouTube, I'm going to get monetized, I'm going to make money. It's like, yeah, well, I did. It took me 3 years to get monetized, which that's probably mostly because I suck. But
oh, come on.
But no, I'm just being honest. Like, I think if you make interesting, good content, then you get more people quicker. But hunting is tough because there's so many people doing it. And I'm just being honest, right? I'm not. I'm objective. I'm objective. But I did get monetized in the first year. I made a video about it. The first year, and this is my fault because I wasn't putting out tons of content. I made $180 in a year. Now this last year has been a lot better. And I'm not saying this to brag, and it's not a lot of money. But this last year I made like $1,000. So better, right? Like, but still, $1,000. You look at how much time I put into it. My hourly rate's probably like $3 an hour. It's it was a terrible ROI. So that's a long answer to say no more full length podcast because it does take so much time. But I did say I'm going to do that Canyon Pounder, that site video, and I like doing review videos because I like to watch them too, and they're just easier to do. I can do a review video in an hour or two, and I don't have to schedule a guest, and I don't have to record for an hour and then edit and all that stuff. So long answer, yes, I'll keep doing stuff, but it'll be limited and no more podcast stuff.
There's 2 questions for you, Josh. They're kind of similar. Avon said, Josh, are you still sold on the Tuska camper? Any new upgrades? And Steve DeNoyer asked, Josh, what happened to your trailer camper build?
Yeah, I'm happy with the Tuska. I only used it in Iowa. It was perfect, really, to be honest with you. I loved having a camper on my truck. Like, when I driving home, I was sicker than a dog in Iowa. So, like, driving home, I had to stop several times and rest because I was running a fever and everything else. And just pulled over and hopped in there. I had a bed in there and like a proper mattress, and I loved it. No real complaints about it. I know some people were concerned about it. So it's made out of like, I'm going to butcher this, but it's some kind of closed cell foam. And then it has some kind of like kind of the same material that's bed liner is what it's sprayed with. So it is super durable. A lot of people were in the comment section were talking about how it's not going to last but a couple years, which that seems kind of, I think it'll last longer than that, but so far so good. It's been real tough for me. Camper build. Yeah. Me and Matt actually talked about doing some more stuff to it. We used it a bunch this year, not as much as Maddie wanted to, but we used it a few times this year camping as a family. So yeah, I may do some more videos about it. We're especially in the off season now, like now until turkey season, we may do some work on it, and I'll keep everybody updated on it. But that's something people are real interested in, is that trailer we turned into a camper.
Yeah, those are super popular. There's I've been in the weeds watching those videos. I haven't built one myself, but boy, there's a lot of appeal there for a lot of reasons for like doing what we do for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, those videos they are interesting to watch that stuff. I like it too. Of course, I was building one, so I was watching all of them. But
sure,
it's kind of like same thing with like people like watching people build cabins and stuff too. It's kind of around the same realms.
It's crazy. Yeah,
DIY.
Getting off on a tangent, but I'm sure everybody's watching this is watching it on YouTube and they're YouTube fans. But yeah, those the one guy, I think it's called Outdoor Boys. You ever watch him? He's in Alaska and he builds like.
Oh yeah, my son likes him.
Yeah. That guy gets insane views. He gets like 10 million, 20 million views every one of his camping videos. It's nuts. People, there's a market for that.
Yep.
Forget the photography. I'm going winter camping all this year.
Yes. Can I survive in the 0 degree weather? or whatever their titles are.
Surrounded by grizzlies in the mountains of Montana. But Daniel Hopkins says bear hunt is a rich man's sport too. I disagree, but maybe I'm biased because of Montana. So my bear tag's $20 and there's a bazillion acres of public land. As a non-resident Montana, if anybody's interested in doing a non-deer hunt, you can buy over-the-counter bear tag, and some units have quotas, but a lot of the western side of the state doesn't have a quota at all, and that's where most of the bears are at. So there's your fun tip of the day. If you're going to hunt bears in Montana, western side's got more bears, but it also has more grizzlies. But that tag's like $300, $325. So basically your gas and $325, and you can hunt bears in Montana. Ashley.
I don't know what non-resident is here, but I think it's like $5 for us to pick up a bear tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
They're just nuisances here. Like they get into trash and everything. Like it's a serious problem. So it's like $5 for resident.
Yeah, if you want to go to Canada,
I think Colorado's super cheap for non-residents now too.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that when they draw their elk tag, they buy a bear tag because it's not that much more. And
I think it's like $100.
Yeah, pretty cheap because you run into bears fairly often elk hunting in Colorado, especially if you're sitting water holes. I've had a couple friends either see or shoot bears off water holes in Colorado while elk hunting. So, we got any other questions? Have Josh or Jeremy killed a mule deer with a bow out west? I'm looking into Nebraska next year. That's from Gabriel Cameron.
No, I've never killed a mule deer.
I killed
I've been there. I've been hunting, but never killed one.
I killed it my first year. So 2019 was my first year as a resident. And I might have talked about this before, but I was so used to Michigan where you get 2 buck tags. And I knew I only had 1 buck tag here. Like I knew it. And it's good for a mule deer or a whitetail. And I had a mule deer come in. I don't know. I saw it 70 yards off and I just posted up by a bush and it came in and I shot it 8 yards. It was like 105-inch 2-year-old deer, little, but I had never shot a mule deer with my bow. And that might have been my first deer off the ground too. So I was just pumped to get a deer that close. So I shot it. No regrets there. And then that was 2020. I'll probably start crying here. So no one laugh at me, but I shot over the back. I shot over the back of a legitimate 160-inch muley with extra kickers off his top forks in full velvet at like 55 yards. And I know I've told that sad story. So I should have a giant with my bow, but I've just got the 1 2-year-old. So
I'll cry for you.
Yeah. And then the other bow killed deer out here have been whitetails. So yeah.
Ooh, can I grab mine and show you guys now that I've gotten them taken care of?
Yeah. Grab them.
Yes. I've been mule deer hunting twice in Colorado, and I always had a longbow with me. It was back when I was just using a longbow, and yeah,
that's
not saying not saying I could have killed one if I had a compound, but I could have killed one if I had a compound a couple times, but I didn't, so it didn't matter.
There it is. That's your first $2, right?
My first 2 this year. Awesome. My first 2 ever.
That is awesome.
But this one, I thought he was.
Did you do those yourself?
Yeah. Well, Justin did them for me, but we do them ourselves. Yeah. I thought he was a 4-point.
Yeah.
And he was the first one I ever shot, and I was super pumped for him. And then like 2 or 3 days later, this was the 6-point that I got. And I was super pumped for him too. There was a 4-point right next to him, and he looked so much smaller than this one. And I was like, oh, he's mature. I'm going to shoot him.
It's a giant.
He was like 13 yards from me, and I shot him with my bow.
That'll get you pumped up.
13 yards. And I just sat there and looked dead in his eyeballs and was like, and he made it further than I thought he would. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I got him. I love
your excitement. It takes me back to shooting the first couple of deer I shot. Josh, I'm sure you too, right? Like I remember being so pumped. Even the first deer I shot with the bow was a doe, and I was just super pumped.
Yes, I still love shooting doe. Like I shot these 2 bucks, and I see a doe, and I'm like, like I will never.
I remember my I remember shooting my first buck and taking it to church on Sunday and letting like the guys at church like came out and looked at it like it was something special. It wasn't, but they all made it out. I was like 10 years old. They made it out to be something cool. I vividly remember that.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
like all the old folks around here. Like my husband grew up with them, and when he was 9, he shot his first buck like 10 yards away from where I shot mine from, or something ridiculous. And he went to the same people that I went to and knocked on their doors and was like, "I shot my first buck." I went and knocked on all those same doors, nice. And I was like, "Guys!"
Who's this crazy lady at my door?
That's funny.
So it was just funny because we were not too far apart from where we shot our bucks, and then we went and ran to the same people just because they've become my family over this. I mean, the hill is it's that old school vibe where everybody's family, whether you're not or you are, you're just family, and everybody looks out for one another. So like somebody gets excited about that. That's the most excitement we've had up at our house, was everybody was coming to look at my deer, and I was like, "This is so cool."
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
for sure.
I learned what hunting camp was about,
That's
and
what
I
it's
didn't
about.
have a hunting camp. And like that I was like,
Yeah.
I want a hunting camp now. Like that's my next goal. I want a hunting camp with people, because that was such a good feeling. And like if everybody could feel that, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's addicting. Yeah, it's addicting. Buckslayer, Jeremy, you like mule deer meat or whitetail? If I had to only eat one, I'd probably go with whitetail. Mule deer, I mean, I think it varies widely where you get it too, but I don't know. Just it tastes like deer to me still, just a little deerier. That's the worst description ever, but it's just a tiny bit, whatever the game taste is game, but I don't know. There's not a ton of difference. Josh, Ashley, any mule deer?
I've never ate mule deer. I've only had whitetail.
I can't say I've ever eaten mule deer. I've eaten about everything else.
Yeah.
Moose and elk and all that stuff. Not a mule deer.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. But I would probably take whitetail if I could only eat one. Farrell says, Jeremy, what's an average size mountain lion out there? I think females are 80 pounds and average male is probably 100, 120, but they can get up to like a real big male. Mature tom, they can get 150, 180. So those are trophy size, though. It's a big one. Hunter 615 says, Ashley, greater than Sydney Wells. Ashley, you got some fans?
Oh, well, thanks. I don't feel like that's true, but thanks.
What else we got here?
What broadheads are you guys shooting? That's my question, because I shot mine with trifectas and they were pretty stinking amazing. I don't know what everybody's using.
Go ahead, Josh.
Razor broadheads. Code BTE saves you 15%.
That was not a setup.
No, I shoot razor broadheads. There's just a single bevel cut on contact head.
2-blade
really
bleeders.
Happy with them. No bleeders.
Just straight on.
No, they're 1 3/8 wide. They're real wide jokers. I love them. They fly good, and they just seem to. I don't know, man. They seem to. Every deer I've killed with them, just I don't know if it's. I'm not a ranch fairy head or anything, but like I don't know if it's just those type of broadheads go through a deer so fast that they don't react to it as violently or something. But every deer I've killed with them and I've killed probably a dozen with them now, and it's just they just don't like them. Like they don't know what happens, and they just kind of run off a little bit and stop and then end up dying. So I like them. I like them a lot. They don't have a 100 grain head though. That's the only product they don't really have is a 100 grain head. They got 125 to 300s, but they don't have a 100 grain head. So
low pounded shooters are a little lost on that one then.
No, not necessarily. You could get by with whatever. I think a 125. The 125 head's smaller too. It's like the standard 1 1/16 or 1/8 cut. So, but yeah, that's what I've been using the last couple of years.
Shot QAD Exodus this year, the 125s, and had good result last year. I've been shooting for 2 or 3 years now. Everything has died well except the elk that I shot this year. We talked about that. So that ended up dying, but terrible blood trail. So I don't know. So somebody asked me on that show if I was going to switch, and I think that was kind of a fluke thing because everything else has died quick and had good blood trails. Not amazing, but plenty good enough to track. That was just like, I don't know. I could see it with binoculars. I could see it dripping out the shoulder, but it just didn't drip on the ground. I don't know. That's the first time I've shot an elk with one too, so we'll see. I hate to shoot another one and not get it, but I also have kind of built my setup and my site and everything around that broadhead. So I'm not going to go away from them. And they got a real good reputation online too. So I'm not going to go away from them from just one experience. I'm going to chalk it up to bad luck. But if I have another one, you can bet I'll be looking to change it up after that. So maybe I'll be shooting razor broadheads. Code BTE, 15% off.
Yeah.
So sorry, just having fun, Josh.
No, I'm really good friends with the owner too.
That's who went with you to Kansas, right? Was that last year? Was that who went with? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I watched those videos. Dave?
They're a Michigan-based company.
Okay.
Dave. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They make them out of Michigan.
Nice. Only quality things come out of Michigan. Razor broadheads and me.
There you go.
Just kidding. Avon Legend said, Josh, notice any difference in deer numbers after the EHD outbreak? Looking to do an out-of-state hunt out there this coming season.
Are you talking about Iowa, or because I know Iowa had EHD bad?
You guys got it too in Indiana. So maybe give us both. What'd you see in Iowa? What'd you see in Indiana?
There's way more deer in Iowa than Indiana.
Yeah. There's way more deer in Iowa than anywhere, I think.
I saw there's not a lot of, like, you're not going to see a bunch of deer in southern Indiana going hunting down here, but I saw plenty of deer in Iowa. Now, you ask some people from Iowa, they're going to tell you that EHD was horrible, and they would know more than I would about that.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I saw, like, I don't know. I only was there for 2 days. That's like $20. So that's a lot to me.
Yeah.
But
well, and that's the thing.
I didn't see as many does. I probably saw less. I saw less does than bucks out there. That's probably because it was the rut. But yeah. And as far as Indiana, I think that EHD in Indiana was a lot of the northern counties in Indiana, if I recall. So I don't hunt up in northern Indiana much or at all anymore.
Yeah, and on the Iowa, it's like if you're coming from and I don't know what your deer per square mile is, Josh, but if you're coming from an area that's 5 or 10 deer per square mile, and Iowa, and I'm just making these numbers up, but it's probably close. If Iowa was 50 and now it's 40, like, yeah, that's down 20%. It's terrible. But if you're coming from 5 or 10 deer per square mile, 40 looks pretty darn good. So,
right.
I
probably wouldn't stop it from letting me go.
Yeah, no, me either. And that's the thing. It's like, I got a buddy that Joel, if you're watching this, don't take it personal, but he worries about everything. And so all the EHD stuff, we're getting ready to draw either next year or the year after. And he's like, oh, basically I was going to be a bust. I'm like, you hunt in Michigan where Michigan's awful, for trophy quality. There's a lot of deer in Michigan, but the trophy quality is pretty bad, especially on public land. And I'm like, even marginal Iowa is going to be 10x what Michigan is. So calm down, basically.
Michigan can probably afford to have some EHD come through there, get rid of some deer.
Yeah. There's a lot of deer. I mean,
we'd probably be better off.
Yeah. If you just want to go shoot a deer, Michigan's a great place to do it. If you want to shoot a big deer, Michigan's a bad place to do it. It can be done, but it's tough. And most of the better deer come off private land.
Same.
Ashley, you got anything else here?
Farrell was wondering, Jeremy, what's an average size mountain lion out there?
I think we did that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did I miss that one? Okay, I was spaced out.
Watch one more. And before we wrap up, this is, for the foreseeable future, my last show. So I just want to tell everyone that's watching and that's watched regularly, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Glad to see that the Beast Report is in good hands with Josh and Ashley. So Josh obviously got the thing started, and I have all the confidence in the world we'll keep it going. So he mentioned, and I think it's worth repeating, if you guys have any ideas for shows you want to see, as someone that's been doing this, it's very helpful. So give us some feedback on this video or to Josh directly on his channel, what you want to see. And, as long as it's civil, I think constructive criticism never hurts too. I did see 1 or 2 comments last video or the video before, basically like, oh no, Josh is coming back. And before Josh, I'm not picking on you, because when I took over, there was a bunch of comments like, this guy sucks, being me and whatever. So I'm not a huge fan of those comments, right? Like, if you're going to say I suck, tell me why I suck and how I can get better. And if I think there's any merit to it, I'll do it. And I did try to do that. And I think Josh, I'm sure, I don't want to speak for you, but same thing, right? Like, yeah, you can say I suck, but tell me why I suck and how I can get better. And if it's reasonable, I'll do it. So yeah.
Sometimes we suck just because we're not Dan in fault,
Yeah,
Yep.
that happens too.
I saw one tonight about us being Dr. Phil. So
Yeah.
I'll be Dr. Phil or Oprah, whichever one. Y'all can pick who you are.
That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna be a milk carton kid because I'm disappearing. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I had, but I did want to get I want to announce the Lathrop and Sons. So one more time, I put it in the chat too, but Dave Reason, so Riesen. I'll have Steven at Lathrop and Sons reach out to you. Congratulations again. You're going to get a pair of boots and 2 pairs of insoles. So awesome giveaway from them. Wanted to have Josh on so we could talk about what's going to be going on in the future. And it sounds like you guys are going to work this out, you and Dan, but maybe in a week or 2 weeks at the most, there'll be a show. So shouldn't miss a whole lot of time on the Beast Report, if any at all. And Ashley, it's been fun working with you, and thanks for the support every week, or almost every week. That's all I got. Josh, you got anything you want to wrap up with?
Looking forward to it. I guess if you guys, we're going to do every other one on my channel. So if you guys haven't went over there, just buzz over there and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss them, because you'll miss them if you for a full week of it.
Every other week.
If you don't realize that.
Yeah.
So, yep. That's it though.
Ashley?
So
it's been a blast working beside you, and I'm sad that you're leaving. I'm excited that I get Josh, but wish you could stay too. I'm excited for your new adventures, and I can't wait to see where you push yourself to, because new adventures are exciting and they're fun. And what better way to end 2024 than with a new adventure for 2025?
Yeah, it was a good place to turn it over right at the year. So thanks again, everyone, and look for Josh and Dan and Ashley next week. We'll see you guys then.